Good morning and welcome back to the program. There's the Bob Marley, Jimmy Buffett moment. It's 18 minutes after 1 o'clock. All made possible by our good friends at Toppers. They're doing breakfast at Toppers right now. A little rum, a little fun, a little gelato for breakfast would not be a bad thing. Actually, what I really like to do for breakfast, Top, if you could do this, you know I like to come at lunchtime and just have a big bowl of meatballs, no pasta, meatballs and red sauce. And I think that that would be a really good breakfast alternative. I could be wrong, but I would eat that for breakfast. I'm probably the only one, but what the hell? Oh boy. Anyway, go visit our friends at Toppers. They'll take good care of you. Karaoke tonight at 8 o'clock. Again, good stuff. A lot of fun. And I will not be singing. Absolutely never, never, ever, ever. I'm penalty that singing to a microphone that's turned on in public. Unless I'm in the car all alone by myself, then I'm in concert. But we'll just leave it at that. It is time for us to take a quick break. My good buddy Claudius Tunja Buncamper coming in, and a former member of Parliament, candidates for Parliament on the Now Party. Looking forward to spending some time with him. We've known each other a million years, and it's always nice to have a friendly face in the studio. So looking forward to chatting with him. It's all on the way in just a moment or two. The Saharan dust is killing me. It's like I feel the migraine coming. Face more done.
We coming on just now. We'll be live just now.
Last one.
Coming on after this.
All customized with your message. A great way to reward staff members or give your customers something to remember you by. Visit them online at bobhilbert.com. Bob Hilbert is the official provider of Island 92 beer. Man alive, on with the jive. It's more.
Welcome back to the program. Say good morning to my very good friend Claudius Buncamper, former member of Parliament. Tunja, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sock. It's been a long time.
Been but January, right?
Yeah.
We gotta do
Six, 7 months ago, yeah.
Oh, crazy times we're in, man. Oh, I don't even know where to start with all of the craziness that's going on in the world, And here, we're no different than
Let me
anywhere.
start, Sak, with who I am and what I bring to the table. I
How
think
about
that would be
Let's
fair.
pretend we don't know each
Yes,
other.
let's
very
pretend.
very nice to meet you, sir. My name is Dr. Sock. I'm from Island 92.
I am Claudius Anthony Camper, and I'm a born and raised Sint Maartener. I go back 8 generations. My over-great granddaddy was a slave. We were able to trace that. I'm a family man. I'm married to Maria. I have 2 kids, 2 grown kids, 33 years and 31. I have 4 grandkids.
You have 4 grandkids?
Yeah, 4 grandkids. I'm a community man. I love to work in the community.
You're a big lion.
My track record as Leo Lion, as a former
You're a district governor.
I was a district governor, board member of the ASA for 12 to 14 years. I have
ASA? I don't know.
after school activities.
Got it.
The No Kidding with Our Kids Foundation. I was there for many, many years as chairman. You know, Merlin is one of these engines that you very seldomly find a gem like that.
Yeah.
I have been with the other organizations. Think of the Scouts, for example. I've been there for 30 years with the Scout movement in Sint Maarten. You know, there's so much to be done, and yet you don't have the time to do everything. I'm educated up to university level.
Where did you go to school?
Curaçao University of, that time it was the University of the Netherlands Antilles. Today it's known as the University of Curaçao. And I did my finals in mechanical engineering. So I specialized in mechanical engineering, very particularly in alternative energy, solar energy. So you can imagine in 1990, 34 years ago, I was already involved in alternative energy. My thesis was based on how do I bring up the water in a pool to 38 degrees so that physiotherapy for people with a handicap would be possible, because you bring the temperature just above the body temperature so the muscles can move a little freer. That was a challenge on its own. Those days solar panels were glass with water going through them, so the balancing, you know, when you had to set parameters, it was extremely difficult, but you know, it was a challenge that I do like. And
I'm a huge fan of solar.
and my work career, I started here with my uncle at Sint Maarten Port Services. Then I went into GB with Mr. Lambert for 5 years. Then I joined the government. I first started to work under Elton Jones, my apologies, as commissioner when he was a commissioner in 1995. And then we were struck with Lewis. And from there, I went to what we called Container City, Container Village. I worked there for about a year.
What's that?
That was where we had the people them first in tents at the Emilio Wilson estate.
Right.
And from there we moved them into a complete containerized structure living. And I worked there for about 8-9 months. And from there, I was moved to government. I was offered a position in government in the sewage plant, and third line in the public works, let me put it that way. Eventually, I made it up the ranks in 1999. I became the head of public works, where I remained until 2020 when I was elected to parliament.
I remember this. Yeah.
I left public works to parliament. I had a great career working. I'm 61 years, so I'm reaching to the 65 now. 65 is when we go on pension. So I decided, in 2020 already, I decided, you know, let me throw my hat in the race.
Do you have to go on pension? Or can you stay?
As government, you don't have the freedom to say, oh, I'll continue working. They can offer you a contract if they don't have a replacement for you.
Right.
You can be offered a contract, but normally you go on pension. They don't make exceptions very easily. But, you know, after a career like I had a very good career. I know government true and true. I know how it works. I know what can and what cannot happen. I understand the laws. I write laws myself, policies. We do that because you learn to cope with what you have. You have to make do after a hurricane with what you have. You know, your co-host Emil, he was there with us with Irma. So he knows what we went through. He understands how it works. It is a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape.
Right.
But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to pull the trigger. You cannot
I'll tell you
afford.
this, one of the things that hit me immediately, so I'm here full-time, almost 17 years. So I've been through a few, including Irma and several others, right?
Mhm.
And I remember as a kid, I remember Lewis and Lenny and all the biggies. I was still a visitor, but not living here back then. And one of the things that always impressed me about Sint Maarten is that we know how to prepare prepare for a storm, and we know how to clean up for a storm afterward.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
You learn, Saki, we don't have, like we were discussing off here, we don't have FEMA. We have we. We're a little island, and after a hurricane, the waves are bad. So ships can't come right away. You're talking about 3 to 4 to 5 days before a ship can really come in. Depending on the damage at the airport, aircrafts can't land, because if your tower system is off, they'll have to land blind. You would need experienced pilots to come in because of winds also. You never know. So we have learned to work with what we have. I was very fortunate to have a few teachers that taught me a lot when I came into government. First, I was well taught in GB by Mr. Lambert. I ran the power plant for a year and a half alone as the only engineer, because the chief engineer lost his son and it really took a toll on him. And the other 2 engineers that were there were fired. So just one little engineer stood there with 4 months of, how would I say, experience of the power plant, but I worked my way through it. I was taught well by Mr. Lambert, I'll say that. He gave me an opportunity of a lifetime, and I took good advantage of it. When I went to government, Joseph Dollison, that was my teacher. I mean, no ifs and buts about it. Dollison taught me all the tricks in the book, How to Survive. And then a man like James Marlin taught me everything about drainage, the pumps, how it works. So I was taught by some good people. I want to say people that left a legacy in the field that I came and met them. You know, in Lenny, while everybody was screaming because the place was flooded, I was in the trench with James trying to get one little pump running that we eventually got running, and it took us days, but we got it running and we started pumping there by Sundial. We broke the dam and we got the water out. But it shows, there are stories you can tell about it. St. Maarten we are very resilient. We have one bounce back opportunity, and that's cruise tourism. When a hurricane hits and hotels are damaged, they are not coming. The timeshare and the regular guests are not coming because the hotels are damaged. But the cruise tourism comes. So your job is to ensure that Philipsburg is operational within 48 hours. So we will dump majority resources in Philipsburg, hospital, airport, harbor. Those are the roads we want open first. And from there, because there is no school, parents, their homes are damaged, schools are damaged. So you focus on how do I get people back to the island to spend $1, because you need that turnover. We don't have a subsidy that is going to give people salaries. We don't have it. We were lucky with Irma, with the trust fund, and that we got payroll subsidy, but that's not a common something. We didn't have that with Lewis. We didn't have that with other hurricanes. This hurricane, yes, with Irma we had much more than we have had with many other hurricanes. But we were taught from 1995, 96, when I joined government, we went through a ring of Berthas up to Lenny. From 96 to 99, we had about 6 other hurricanes. And we were taught how to work. Then we had Gonzalo back in 2014, again, that did us a little ruffling. But we are taught that you have 2 days to get town ready. Everybody comes together. We put 100 man, 150, 200 man to clean. The most important thing is to have equipment for them, so gloves. Make sure that they're not walking around in slippers. Because a lot of people, they don't have much, so they just come and we try to get whatever we can get to help them protect themselves. And because it's zinc, you're moving a lot of zinc and a lot of trees, greenery. That's mostly what you find in the town area. And then you have to clean the beach. You have to put people in the sea, if you like it or not, to go look for the zinc, because you don't want the tourists to cut themselves in there. Right. Then you have a bigger disaster in your hand, because now people are getting hurt because they're going into the water to swim. Because, after a hurricane, everything turns nice and blue. 2 days later, the sun is out and it's as if there was nothing.
And then there's lots of stuff that to be done.
Yes, and you have to get it out of there within 48 hours. So when they reach back to St. Maarten and they go down the boardwalk, because tourists love a tour to see what all was damaged.
Oh,
after Irma, that was a big seller on the ships. Come and see the damage. Yeah, come and see the damage. It was, and people are, the open top buses. Oh my God, people were stopping filming. It is what it is. That people love that adrenaline rush.
So I want to ask you, you brought up two topics that I'd like to dive into. You told me about your experiences at GEBE. And I don't think I would be making a statement that anyone would disagree with at this point, that over the past number of years, our power company has been mismanaged, and we now find ourselves in the situation that we're in now. How does one, hindsight is always 20/20, MP, but looking back, if you had to change history, what would you change? How would you fix it so that, or what would you do now so that we could get out of this mess sooner rather than later?
I think there are two things. I would love to go back to December 2017 and would have then asked then Governor Eugene Holiday sign the national decree to have the waste to energy become reality. The Council of Government had passed it. The Council of Ministers passed it. It was by the governor to ratify. He held it and said, it's a big commitment for the country, and there's a new government coming in, because remember in 2017, at the end of the year, we turned over the governments.
Right.
And they held it, and 10 months later, they threw it in the wastebasket. Today, we wonder if we had that 15 megawatt, what would our fuel clause have looked like? What would we have been paying, and wouldn't we have been much more stable? That's one. Two, GB is obligated by their concession to have alternative energy. And up until this day, they don't have 1 watt. Not 1 watt alternative energy. And
I'm gonna make you smile, but go ahead.
and there are hundreds of reasons why. A lot of people in Sint Maarten, they have put up solar panels. I think you are one of them yourself.
I have 28 of them on the
Exactly.
roof of my house.
And
I'm adding 8 more.
and I am busy right now. I'll tell you this much. I won't say with whom and with what, but we are busy looking at an alternative to have companies come to Sint Maarten, kingdom partners, and offer solar energy to residents and businesses. Because GB cannot seemingly find the right direction towards alternative energy.
I don't understand why.
It is stupidity. It is stupidity. There's no other word for it, Sock. Why would you entertain a discussion now to buy 20 megawatt of diesel spinning engines and then another 27 megawatt of heavy fuel LNG/diesel engines again? So that means you are remaining dependent on fossil fuels.
So I can tell you
We
this.
can't be serious.
I can share with you this. I went to the first GEBE Candid Conversation Town Hall meeting, which was a disaster, I might add, on a variety of reasons in terms of GEB willing to share information and share it widely in a freedom of information type of way. Put all that aside. I sat in that meeting and I listened to the GEBE team stand up and say that solar is not a solution. That and I'm going to share with you. So just for giggles, look. This is the solar at my house. I'm sharing with the little app. And if you look on the top side of the screen,
Yeah.
shows what I've exported. This is over the last 3.7 months, 3.7 years. 17.5 megawatts
Yeah.
back to the grid. And I understand that, if we did this on a wide scale, we might have some things to make sure are okay. But at the end of the day, these solar panels that are installed on my roof, and the roof of this building for that matter, are certified and insured for up to 100, they're rated for 170 mile-an-hour winds, and covered by my
Look,
insurance.
these things
Why don't we do this?
exist. Sol. We blamed Sol for a lot of things, but Sol made an offer to government for 35 megawatts of solar panel park in the Salt Pond. Everybody just smiled, everybody's laughing, but nobody did take up the offer serious. Sol, I'm talking about Sol, who sells us diesel and gas oil and heavy fuel, offered the government a transition, the former government. And they laughed. They did nothing.
I was on Anguilla, one of the big resorts there. They have a big pond, a big pool out in the driveway. The driveway is circular around it, and the inside of the pond is all solar panels.
Yes, that's what we were going to do here. And the solar panels can move. So they move with the sun. They can even go up and down. So when the weather is getting a little rough, they hide under the water, just like the fishes do. They don't come up and look where the big waves are. They stay underneath. Same, this mechanism can work. I saw the plan. I spoke to the managing director, and I really thought this is a good way to go. Don't ask me why, but it seems that anytime you talk, thinking out of the box, going the way we should go as a country, you're slam dunked. As if, no, that's not possible. And I don't understand why. If I understood it, maybe I would speak different, but I have no understanding why we do this. Why we cannot go solar. Sabre and Stacia are solar. Curacao, Aruba have solar and wind energy. Sint Maarten has nothing. Absolutely nothing. Other than, for example, I know Saro had a whole park down there. He has a park still down there.
Right.
And they light up themselves. So you hear sometimes, okay, the big companies are going to go off grid and run their generators. Generators cost money because that's fuel and that's maintenance. You know, I'll show an example, sir. I told them, let's do this. We cry about bus prices, tariffs on buses. So I did some research. A fully suited bus comes from China at this point in time. It's about $19,000, 14-seater. The container cost is about $9,000. Fits 2 buses. So average yourself about $24,000 a bus. These are solar powered buses. On the roof, they're solar. And you create a charging station. If you would bring 30 or 40 of those buses to Sint Maarten and have the people that are driving employed. Employ them. You're not competing with anyone. What you're going to do is start having these buses drive the routes that no one wants to drive. To the hospital, to Mid-Region, because buses don't drive there.
Right.
They don't drive into Simpson Bay. So we will have these buses drive into there. And all their fuel is solar power. So they can charge. Exactly. There is no maintenance on the engine because there is no engine. People are not thinking out of the box.
Have you driven an electric vehicle?
No, I am going to try to buy one now and put a charging station at my home. I have seen it now by different homes. I've seen it by businesses. It's incredible.
Next time you travel, if you go to the U.S., rent a Tesla. Just try it. Talk about
silent. It's very silent.
It's a little weird to get used to. Super fast. Just imagine a golf cart on steroids. The first time I got in a Tesla, and I'm not a fan of Tesla, but I got in one with one of my buddies that I grew up with, and he had just bought it. He got it, and he punched the gas, the accelerator, because there is no gas, right? And this car took off so fast. I got the almost got whiplash the way I was thrown back in the seat because I wasn't expecting it. I got dizzy. I got nauseous.
No, but I mean, this is the future. Technology even wants to go without drivers.
Let me do this. Let me take a quick break. I want to come back. We got more stuff to talk about. Let me clear a few commercials. We'll combine everything, so we'll have one more segment. Connie's Bun Kemper, my very good friend. I'm so glad you're here. It's nice to have you in the studio. It's nice to talk to just a friend. So thank you.
Happy to be here.
We'll be right back.
you, Ted. I'll be back in a few.
Okay, let's turn on.
All right, we're back on normally.
So it's just us in the studio, guys. It's just us in the studio. We're in commercial break, but we got a few more. Want us to cover anything and anything we should cover? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Anything you want us to talk about. We got 1, 2, 3 more to go. So a minute and a half.
Are you ready to explore the stunning landscapes of Sint Maarten NOW? Look no further than Saks, Colorado. Cruise the picturesque coastline.
Two room there, huh?
Yeah.
No cream.
No, no.
We used to fill out my coffee. One more commercial, guys, and then we're back. Welcome back to the program. My name is Dr. Sock. Fresh Air in the Morning rolls on in with former Member of Parliament, Claudius Buer. Welcome back, sir.
Soon to be member of parliament again. Let me just say that
soon
from
to be,
now.
soon to be again. Right?
Yes,
Do you
definitely.
miss the debate?
Yes, I do miss it because I was one of the very few that would prepare well for debates, make sure that I'm on point with my information, do my research, etc., to ensure that when I speak with substance and not just speak so that they can hear my voice on radio or hear my voice on Facebook. I speak and I try to bring substance to every discussion that I partake in.
Well, let's go to a very troublesome turn of events. This is, I think, important, certainly to those of us that live here, but certainly also very important to our visitors. You know, safety and security has become a real problem recently. We had some very tragic things happen in Maho over the weekend. We seem to have imported that, is what it would appear. We also had some other incidents recently happen. But this is not who we are.
It definitely is not. Let me say this, Suck, for the record. Sint Maarten is a safe place. What we have now, what we are experiencing, is a wave of violence where gangs from various countries are feuding it out here because they recruited some people seemingly here. But it is not something from us. This is organizations, because they're not just a few friends doing this. These are organizations that are settling scores with each other, and they do this throughout the Caribbean. This was an artiste that came here from Trinidad that was connected to a gang. Clearly, I think it's the 6s or the 7s, something like that, I understood.
And he was out on bail.
Correct, that's it. He was out on bail. So the question that behooves us, how did he get in? Why did we allow him in? And, you know, I spoke to some people in authority, and basically it was, oh, he slipped through. And I'm saying, okay, he's not on a watch list, seemingly. He slipped through. So when you hold the promoters, or they don't know, because who is going to pay for this good gentleman's bill at the hospital? He's not insured in St. Martin.
You and I are the taxpayers.
Well, you know, how long is SZV going to float this bill? These are questions that need. Listen, we are talking about a human being. Eh? No matter what all transpired, it's a human being we are talking about. And life is a value. You don't allow people to just die because they're not insured. Doctors will not do that. They took an oath not to allow that. But the question is, he has a bullet lodged in his brain, and he is in an induced coma. So can he be flown back to his country? Because there they have 10 times better medical facilities than we have. They have brain specialists that can do the operations. We don't have them. So we would have to fly him out, be it to Curacao, be it to Santo Domingo or Colombia. But who's going to foot that bill? Because somebody wants a guarantee. The ambulance wants a guarantee. The hospital wants a guarantee. Who's going to pay for this? He was a visitor to our country. He's not a resident. He's not insured. So seemingly now, the promoters and the business establishment owners are caught in a, how I say,
rock and a hard place.
Yes, because somebody is going to be held responsible for this good gentleman's bills. And so, again, a wave of violence that we are experiencing has now put us also in another predicament. Do we look at who we allow to come into our country? Do we put people on a watch list by immigration because they're affiliated to certain organizations? Where does it stop?
Well, at a certain point in time, MP, I would say that everyone, and I'm sure you would agree with me, everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And just because this gentleman was out on bail means he was accused of something, still innocent, right?
If he comes as a tourist, he is welcome.
Agreed.
But not as a performer when you know that these guys are feuding and bullets fly, they have no eyes.
Agreed. 100%.
I think that's where we have to
smart.
make the difference, that we allow you in as a tourist. I don't have an issue with you coming as a tourist. I mean, if someone wants you, they're going to find you, no matter where you are. But if you're coming and your songs promote violence, or your song sings about the other one, and they get a chance to come at you, they're going to come at you. And that's unfortunate, because you're damaging the name of the country. You're damaging the economy, the single pillar economy. If a tourist does not feel safe, they will not come. We must remember that. And you know, again, in my humble opinion, St. Maarten is a safe place. We have done, our Minister of Justice has taken a very proactive position. He has asked his kingdom partners, please, I need your help. I need you to send me extra police officers, send me the RST, send me the SWAT teams. I want to deal with this gang violence. I want to clean up this nonsense once and for all.
I don't know this minister personally at all. Hello, I've shaken his hand. I don't know him. I don't know him well. I've had the opportunity to meet him, but I have to say that the fact that he stood up and raised his hand and said, "We need help."
Yes, you see,
that's the first step of maturity.
You know, there are things, Sak, that we have to remember. We try to run our own affairs, but sometimes you slam into a wall, and that wall is too high to climb, and there's no way around it. Then you're going to have to ask your kingdom partners to help you knock that wall down. And we have run into a barrier when it comes to gang violence, and we need to deal with it. And I want to believe that we are going to get our kingdom partners in to help us do this. And yes, elections is right around the corner, and that's why you saw the stance of the Council of Ministers also stating no more public meetings. We want to prevent any sort of unnecessary incidents. At the same time,
unpopular decision.
Very unpopular, but maybe at this point in time, a wise decision. But naturally, the other side of the picture is but they're not shooting at the rallies. They're shooting in the clubs. So why not shut down the clubs? Why not stop those parties? And then you're starting to play with the economy of the country. So safety and economy, because tourists come here, they want to go to the clubs. They want to go to the nightlife. That's why they're here, not to be hiding in their hotel room. So that safety feeling has to be brought back. It means we have to find some ways of ensuring, just simply ensuring that it can happen. We can have the clubs open, we can have parties, but we will have more blue looking around and dealing with what has to be dealt with.
And one of the things I think, and listen, I love the men and women in blue. I have been a huge supporter of the men and women in blue around the world my whole life. We need to make sure that we treat people, often I think here in the Caribbean, we often come off a little hard, right? And especially around our tourists, we need to be a little smarter in how we...
Much smarter. We have to, our marketing of selling ourselves, our product. The product of Sint Maarten is the people. We can say, oh, it's the beauty, but it's the people. The people make it. I want to, before I go, I want to congratulate the Ministry of ECYS and the minister himself for a great job. Back in December last year, there was a whole hype about, oh, we're going to pay the teachers, and we're going to pay this, and then it didn't happen. They signed a covenant because it was a political stunt, and they never paid the people. Thank God, and it's on the front page today, that the Minister of Finance will make the payments. It was the Minister of ECYS and their Minister, Minister Lyndon Lewis, that prepared these advices and got them through, and now the Minister of Finance is going to do what she does best, make sure that people get the money that they deserve. So I want to congratulate both the Minister of ECYS, Mr. Lyndon Lewis, and the Minister of Finance, Ms. Marinka Gums, for showing that when we make a promise, because we don't make promises, but when we say we will do something, we will get it done.
You know what this whole thing, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing, all politics aside, I'm seeing a group of, I'm seeing calm that comes from 4 different parties, and people are trying to work together, and just because we might disagree
Doesn't mean we can't work together.
And it doesn't mean because you and I have different opinions doesn't make you a bad person and be a good person, or vice versa. Doesn't make me hate you. And if anybody walks away with a message from all of the interviews we've done all campaign season long, I hope people understand it's our differences that make us stronger.
I agree with you. I want to close and ask anybody that would like to support my campaign. I can use the donations, so please call me on 520-1188 and make a donation. I would appreciate it. I have to continue campaigning. We have until the 19th, or until the 18th, the 19th. We will hopefully, if we're allowed to be at the polls, we'll be at the polls. Otherwise, we will have to work the phones and ensure that the safety of all the people is safeguarded by not congregating at the polls.
Claudius Montcamber, thank you for spending time with us this morning.
I enjoyed it.
Please give my very best to the entire family. I
Will
watched
do.
your kids grow up. Your wife and I, your wife is my role model for what a good Rotary president should be. I try and follow in her footsteps.
Happy to hear that.
And so please give Maria my best.
I will do that for sure.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Sock, and we'll be back again.
Doors always open.
Thank you very much.
It is
All right.
just 10 o'clock.